Breakthrough Media.
Come on, man.
Don't look past this.
And now let's talk about revisionist history. And to start with, there was a great quote I read not too long ago. It said this: "If the news is fake, imagine how bad history is." And the reason that I bring up that quote is because I was reminded of it just earlier today. Why? Well, it turns out in a history book about ancient Egypt that was just published by the National Geographic, there is a claim that Kyle Rittenhouse killed 2 black men. Let me just repeat that. In a book that was published by the National Geographic on the topic of ancient Egypt, they mentioned that Kyle Rittenhouse, and they say it as a matter of fact, that he shot and killed 2 black men. This is despite the fact, as you likely know, that Kyle Rittenhouse shot and killed 2 white men in self-defense. Regardless, though, the history book says otherwise. Now, specifically, the book in question here is called The Good Kings: Absolute Power in Ancient Egypt and the Modern World, written by an Egyptologist named Kara Cooney. And in the book, here's specifically what Ms. Cooney wrote. Or consider 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse, who used a semi-automatic weapon to kill 2 black men in Kenosha, Wisconsin, while waging a glorious race war on behalf of his inherited white power. That's not to mention the white people who rallied behind him to post bail. Fear has gripped the patriarchy, and the threat of righteous violence, or the lethal use of it, is the patriarchy's response. That amazing paragraph, by the way, appears in the last chapter of the book, titled Smashing the Patriarchy. And besides the obviously wrong detail about the 2 black men who were killed, it is also unclear how she exactly justifies the statement that Kyle Rittenhouse's shooting was done while, quote, waging a glorious race war on behalf of his inherited white power. I guess we just have to take that as a fact. Now, thus far, the National Geographic has not released any statements on whether they stand behind this author and the false claim. However, Ms. Cooney herself, facing quite a bit of backlash online, she released a statement on Twitter saying this: "On page 341 of The Good Kings, I state that Kyle Rittenhouse shot 2 black men when instead he shot 2 white men."
How do you make this kind of mistake and you don't even have to do any deep research? And then how about that apology? Sorry, but not sorry.
Don't look past this.
That was my mistake, and I apologize. The response has been a hateful stew of ridicule and denial that America has a race problem at all. If one mistake in a little-known book about ancient Egypt elicits this much howling, it is to avoid discussing our larger problem, to avoid seeing our deep-seated obsession with patriarchal power. So yeah, tiny detail of the book with a big mistake about a massive American issue, and that's on me. But the white supremacy is still a problem, and the misogyny is still a problem. Now that is a rather amazing statement, both apologizing for the factual error, but then also shifting the blame to society at large.
If white supremacy is so prevalent, why do hate hoaxes rule the day? You would think that to the level they're whining about it, they should have no shortage of obvious examples. But buzzwords and headlines that are agenda-driven instead of truth-driven rule the day. I see in here the opposite of misogyny. There's truthfully hate against straight white and black men.
Don't look past this.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator, with certain alienable rights. With certain alienable rights.
We have a power.
And we've raised a spoiled, brat representative government that needs to be taken to the woodshed. Are you satisfied with a government that owns you?
I look at freedom and I appreciate that.
Breakthrough Media.